HBAR and XRP fans, I got something juicy for you. Happy Tuesday for you as well. The Republicans are coming out with some crypto guidelines that you need to hear. Regs? Well, I don't know. My watch says it's June 24th, but regs are going to take some time. Cramer says it's time to be bullish. Oh, crap. Did he just jinx the market? Oh, and a big report that has to do with XRP and...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
So if all these ETFs, BlackRock, Sailor, and everyone's buying BTC, who the hell is selling BTC? But speaking of green on the screen, check it out. XRP hits $2.20. ADA's getting up there. Ethan, whoa. I know. Your comments come first. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Yeah, that's how we do it on this channel. Chino BX all day says, how can there be rate cuts when everything is more expensive? Oh wait, bananas, coconuts, and Poland Spring hasn't gone up. Same thing with Arizona iced tea, baby. You know what else hasn't gone up? Never mind. Reverend Funky says, when the wife doesn't respond, that's not inflation, that's inflammation, which is swell. It's only inflation when you got a doll in the closet that needs attention. That's hyperinflation. That's pumpage as well. Pedro Quiro says, the naughty Snapchat causing inflation somewhere else. Well done, Klaus. Thanks for the awesome news and great humor and huge mega heat advisory. Dude, this is by me. And it's going to get even hotter. It's supposed to get to 99 by me today, but right now it's 95. Feels like 103. What is it like by you? I'll tell you what it's like, though, on the heat map. Things are starting to really heat up. Deep green up on the screen. Bitcoin's hitting 106,175. ETH is 2461. XRP at 220. ADA looking good. Everything looking really good right now. But some things are taking a while to come back. Look at X1. Still not a quarter yet. Sitting at 24.8. SWE not at $3 just yet. ICP not at $5 yet. Aptos not at $5 yet. Yeah, so certain things are taking a little bit of a time coming back. That's why you're seeing the altcoin season only at 18 out of 100. That's why we're only at 47 right now in terms of neutral in fear and greed. And look at this. Inflows. You're seeing ETF inflows. But wait a minute. If it's in ETF inflows, who is selling the BTC? Well, we're going to talk about it. But first, Republican senators are talking about digital assets and structure rules. Yeah, we need to talk about this too. The principles address regulatory uncertainty that has plagued Bitcoin and digital assets, emphasizing clear jurisdictional boundaries between agencies. This is important because now we've got some bills out there that need to get some votes. And word on the street has it that we're not going to have a clean passage of the Genius Act in the House, which means, yes, delays. This is from Scott. Since taking over as chairman, I've led a new approach to digital asset regulation. These principles will serve as an important baseline for negotiations on this bill, and I'm hopeful my colleagues will put politics aside and provide long overdue clarity for digital asset regulation. They're talking about regs for the crypto market right now, not stablecoins, but the crypto market. This framework covers 6 key areas, beginning with clearly defining Bitcoin and other digital assets' legal status. The senators propose establishing statutory distinctions between digital asset securities, commodities, and providing industry participants with predictability. Essentially what he's saying is this, and what you got right here is an outline of digital asset legislation, okay? So before, what you saw in the Senate was regs for stablecoins. Now, this big blob you see up on the screen, oh, by the way, I'm not going to read this all verbatim because it's boring as shit. By the way, this blob, it's all linked in the description below. Basically, what they go over is 6 things. I'll go over real high-end stuff, and then we're going to move on to juicy stuff because we got to talk about XRP futures. But look, here's what they talk about on the high end. Legislation should clearly define the status of legal assets, or legal status of digital assets. Essentially saying, are things a commodity, or are they a security? Jurisdiction should be clearly allocated among regulators. Who does it? Is it the SEC, CFTC, stuff like that? Regulation should be modernized and foster innovation, right? We shouldn't be smothering innovation, Gary Gensler. Regulation should protect those who purchase or trade. That's right. It should be meant to protect people like us who participate. Illicit finance measures should be targeted and pro-innovation. Again, we want to create jobs, not stifle them. Federal financial regulators should welcome responsible innovation. Again, we want to make things possible. That's what this outline is right here. You're welcome to read all the bullet points. Essentially, these bullet points are the framework for regs that's going to come out of the Senate. Now, what's happening is this, okay? Senate on one side, House on the other side. They're both going to come out with their own versions of the framework for crypto regs. Yeah, which means both sides are going to want their own bills being done. So crypto regs are going to take a while, everyone, so buckle up. If countries, companies, and ETFs are buying BTC, who's selling? It's a really good question. As for who's actively selling on a surface level, there doesn't appear to be one major cohort, which means it's slow selling. Still, miners have been slowly offloading their stock. Crypto quant data shows miner balances overall have drawn about 2,000 BTC since the start of the year, while retaining an eye-watering 1.8 million. So basically what we're seeing is a lot of BTC players are buying and hodling, yet we see the price soft, right? Like remaining strong, which is important. But what do you see in the crypto market? Yeah, you see the alts struggling. And here's the problem, okay? Let's check this out, okay? Look at BTC. BTC at 105,000, okay? Look, go to the 1 year. Look at BTC. When BTC was back here, right, at 76,000, when BTC was back here at 103,000, we know where the alts were, right? Look at XRP. Go to the 1 year on XRP and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. XRP back then was at 324 when BTC was back at 103,000 in January. Now, XRP isn't anywhere close. So look at the 1 year for BTC, 1 year for XRP. Now watch this. So let's look at some historical dates between the two. When you had BTC all the way back here, yep, that's right, and January 16th at 100,000, you can see BTC has essentially gone sideways with their price action. XRP for the year has what, everyone? Yeah, we've seen a bit of a decline. We're nowhere near the $3 mark there. So very, very different in terms of XRP and BTC. Very different price-wise. Now, Cramer's kind of screwing us. Jim Cramer declares bullish market outlook, citing oil weakness and Reagan precedents. Damn, I think he just screwed us. Okay, let's skip over him. We're going to talk HBAR, but first, we're going to talk 1 month XRP futures. All right, do you remember the CME Group futures? Yeah. XRP and micro XRP futures are regulated cash settled contracts that have recently joined our expanding suite of products. Listen to this. There's some volume stuff in here you need to know about. The introduction of XRP futures has rapidly demonstrated significant market interest and widespread participation. On its debut, trading volume reached 19.3 million across 15 firms and 4 retail trading platforms. This diverse engagement from ETF issuers to individual retail traders highlights robust demand. Now, there's some really interesting stats about this. Here you go. Since its launch, XRP futures have recorded a total trading volume of 542 million. Notably, 45% of this volume originated from outside of North America, underscoring its substantial global appeal. Open interest contract continues to grow as well, standing at 70.5 million. Check it out. You can see the interest increasing, volume, and so forth. I just thought I would share this. Oh, by the way, this is all linked in the description down below. You're welcome to read more about it. It's all there as well. And more juicy stats. Growth in institutional adoption, right? Talking about Hidden Road, talking about stablecoin integration, all that. Okay, cool. Talked about that. We talked about Bitcoin essentially, right? Touching all-time highs. XRP having some, yes, stability at the $2 price range, but not being able to hold $3. What about HBAR? Look at this. Almost like a 20% swing here over the last several days. So opportunities are there. The volatility is there. But again, look at the 1 year chart for HBAR. That's very, very, very different. So you're seeing a market play out very differently. And that's why I brought up this article earlier about if countries, companies, or ETFs are buying BTC, who's selling? There's not that many people that are selling. They're buying and hodling. But a lot of these alts, you see people selling them and trading them. They're playing the pumps and dumps, the dips and tips. So a very different narrative of buying and hodling BTC versus the alts where we're seeing what? Players trading these, actively trading these. Look at the HBAR 1 year chart, XRP 1 year chart, a little bit more sideways action, BTC. Look at this, very different. And again, when BTC was back here touching all-time highs, when XRP was up here really high, when HBAR was up here really high, we've seen some differences play out. So the market is definitely starting to look different. And institutional money is flowing heavily into BTC. Why? Golden passed as a commodity. That's why I brought up this article in the beginning, how we're looking for digital asset market structure rules. Because now, once we get these, we're going to have regs for the rest of this blob right here of crypto, which is what we need for players to stop doing the pumps and dumps and start buying and hodling our favorites. It's very frustrating to see the difference between them, but I wanted to point out why it's happening. It's obvious. You're seeing the commodity versus what? The security kind of pump and dump strategy play out. A lot of these companies out there don't feel comfortable buying cryptos and hodling them because there's no regs for them yet. But with BTC looked as a commodity, just like gold and silver and so forth, they feel very comfortable for doing that. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't play XRP, HBAR, and all that for what it is. No, but what you're seeing, what? Heavy volatility between those. What are you also seeing? XRP and HBAR not being back to the highs that you saw of January and December. But BTC constantly touching that all-time high. Look, I'm not happy about it, but what is my job? To bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. And what are you seeing with BTC? Constantly touching all-time high because of the commodity play. So, hopefully we get some digital asset market structure regs here soon, because that would benefit the alt that we all love the most. Now, that being said, you're going to get a bill from the House, you're going to get a bill from the Senate, and it's going to take a lot of time. Yeah. That's right, Garmin, and the government doesn't move fast. So, I'll be sure to share that with you. Everything is linked in the description down below. HBAR fans, you had opportunity out there to gobble HBAR sub 13 cents. Now it's back above 15. How often how long until we get another opportunity to gobble cheap HBAR? Well, my strategy is pretty simple. I'm going to stack cash until the next opportunity presents itself. I'm not going to chase. Same thing with XRP. There's always going to be opportunities sub $2. No sense on chasing because there's always an opportunity. And once one door closes, another door opens. I got denied circles, so I had opportunities in cash to present it somewhere else. And that's exactly what I did. But because BTC is a commodity, players out there have been buying and hodling. That's what that article was all about. And we've seen institutions are playing our favorites, though. They're pumping them and dumping them. So just pay attention to that. And damn it, Kramer, why'd you say things are bullish and screw us all up for us? Choo-choo, bitches.